I'm gonna love you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Dan's Chess Lounge. Today I was looking through some games and I came across one in the Benko Gambit that really caught my eye. It's very sharp, it's very tactical, and you guys know that I'm all about tactics. I'm more on the tactical side. I'm a fan of the tactics of chess more so than the strategy side. You need both to be a good player. And I do appreciate the strategic side as well, but I just feel like as far as improving players, beginners, intermediate players, we can benefit more from learning all about tactics, learning the insides and outs, learning the mating nets, learning all the combinations, learning all the different tactical ideas. That's how we can improve as beginners, intermediate, and somewhat advanced players as well. Now, once you get to become a title player, then it's different. Then the strategic side is just equally as important. So let's go ahead and get into this game here. This game was played at the World Blitz Championship that just took place in the end of December. It was played with Noaman and Christiansen. It was a very, very sharp game. Let's go ahead and see what transpired over the board here. D4, knight f6, c4, c5, d5, and now you have b5, which starts the Benko Gambit. Black is offering up a pawn here for a long-term positional sacrifice. Black would like to play on the A and B files with his rooks and his queen and attack the A and B pawns. It's a very, very strong opening. Let's see if what white does here. White plays knight d2. This is sort of a rare move here. The common moves is to, of course, accept the gambit with c takes b. They say the best way to refute a gambit is to accept it. Or white could have played knight f3 here if they wanted to decline it as well. This is the most popular way to decline it, just to go ahead and continue to develop your pieces. But instead, white played knight d2 here. Black continues to develop as in the traditional Benko Gambit style. He's going to fianchetto his bishop and castle kingside. E4 here is going to threatening to play E5 next and disrupt the knight on F6. So black plays D6, knight F3, bishop G7, H3 keeps the knight and the bishop off of the G4 square, castles, bishop D3, developing move. Now you have B takes C. You see that black might have waited to take on the C4 square once the bishop moved. So he was trying to make white waste the tempo. That's why he didn't do that until the bishop actually moved first. That could have been a possible reason why he captured B takes C now. Knight takes C4. Bishop A6. Pinning the knight to the bishop here. Queen C2. Knight D7. Black is completing his development. Castles. Knight B6. Now you have two attackers on the knight, but white's fine as of now because white has two defenders, the bishop and the queen. Bishop D2, developing move. Rook B8 is a good move because it indirectly threatens the B2 square. If black trades all the pieces on C4, the knight and the bishop, then the B2 square is going to be left undefended. So Rook B8 is a good move there. Now white played Rook A B1, which you would think would be a logical move to defend that b2 square, but actually that's a mistake. He should have just traded some pieces by playing maybe knight takes knight. Black will capture the bishop, queen takes, and then white will play bishop c3, and everything will be fine. It would just be a pretty even game right here. But instead of doing that, played rook b8 instead, rook a b1 instead, and that falls victim to a tactic here. Do you guys see it? Yes, knight takes e4. So black wins a pawn here because if the bishop captures the knight, then white's knight on c4 is going to be only defended once by the queen. So he's going to lose a pawn here. So white plays knight a5, bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes, and now here black captures the pawn on d5 because the knight on a5 is undefended. So if the queen captures the knight on d5, then black can capture the knight on a5. Also, you'll notice that white is threatening to play c6 here, which forks black's queen and rook on d8 and b8. So white plays that, knight c6, and then black plays knight b4, hitting the queen. And white takes because white is down 2 pawns. So they do not want to exchange queens being down 2 pawns. Rook takes. So now the rook and the bishop is hitting the b2 square. So white plays b3. Now you have d5. So black has these pawns in the middle. So he said, okay, now it's time to go ahead and push them. Rook b c1, queen d6, getting the queen in a more active position to protect his pawns that he's getting ready to push. Defend the c5 pawn that was hit by the rook. Rook d1, bishop h6, getting the bishop in a more active square, and black wants to trade pieces too because black's up again 2 pawns. So black would like to exchange all the pieces and go into like a king and pawn endgame, being up 2 pawns. Queen c2. So now you have 2 attackers on the c5 square. That's a nice move there. Rook d4. Now you have the rook and the bishop attacking the knight on d2. So the knight moves. But again, black would like to trade, so that's good for black because he's up material. So black exchanges a pair of rooks. And now he continues with his plan, e5. He's going to just push his pawns right up the board. They're pawn rollers. Queen e2. Now you have e4, which hits the knight here. And if you look at the board, the knight doesn't really have that many squares to go to. If he goes to any of the other squares that's not highlighted by the green squares there, if he goes to the other squares, then black would just capture the knight. And that goes towards black's goal of just trading pieces down and having a winning endgame. So the knight retreats to h2. Terrible position for white here. The bishop goes back to g7. And now white tries some tactics here. He tries queen takes e4, hoping that black takes, and then the rook takes the queen, And then this will be maybe a salvageable end game for white. So that was some tactics that white was going for, but that does not work at all because black can just play queen h2 check. Wow. I think white overlooked that one for sure. White just resigned right here after black took the knight, because at the end of this here, you're going to have king takes, and then pawn takes queen, and now black is up a whole bishop and a pawn, so it's just too much material for white to handle. So this was a good tactical game from the black side, and I also like at the end where the tactics didn't work out. When white played queen takes e, this is a good learning example as well. When tactics do not work out, for some reason, I really enjoy seeing just when tactics go wrong, basically, and black kind of out clevered white, if that's a word, out clevered. Well, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this game. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.